Have you ever had an itch somewhere on your back, chest, or scalp that just won't go away no matter what you try? And when you were younger, did those itches ever come with tiny patches, red bumps, or strange dryness that didn't look like your usual skin irritation? If you're quietly nodding right now or thinking about that one spot on your shoulder or leg that's been bothering you for weeks, then listen carefully. There's no need for panic, no reason to scare yourself. But there is every reason to know what it might mean, because when something as small as an itch appears and lingers, especially in older age, it's often the body's gentle way of asking for attention before it begins to shout. You may not realize it yet, but your skin often tells the truth long before a doctor's report does. And if we can learn to understand that truth early, really understand it, then we may stop something devastating before it grows strong. Now let's calmly talk about this, step by step. You see, in the world of medical analysis and elder care, there is one pattern that doctors across the globe have quietly noted: persistent itching in certain areas of the body when it doesn't respond to common treatments like moisturizers, antihistamines, or antifungal creams, can sometimes be the earliest visible symptom of internal changes. Not always, but sometimes. When an elderly person, especially someone over 60, experiences a recurring itch on a particular location of the body, like the middle of the back, the chest near the collarbone, behind the ears, or around the neck, that doesn't show any obvious rash or allergy, it may be a cutaneous marker. And one of the most alarming but lesser-known cutaneous markers is related to internal cancer, especially blood-related cancers like lymphoma, or internal organ tumors in the liver, pancreas, or lungs. Now again, let's not be frightened, let's be informed, because knowledge, when combined with calm action, is power. And you are strong enough to carry this knowledge with grace. Most people believe that if there is cancer, there must be a lump, a tumor, or a harsh symptom. That's not always true for elders. Sometimes the body gives very subtle signs like sudden itchiness with no rash, loss of appetite that's masked as "I just don't feel like eating," itching that worsens at night when the body is resting, itching that appears near bones or spine with no apparent cause, an itch that feels under the skin rather than. And these symptoms don't confirm anything, but they are flags, quiet, gentle flags. In a study conducted by the British Journal of Dermatology, over 20% of patients who were later diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma reported having chronic itching several months prior to their diagnosis, many of them older adults. That itch wasn't random. It was the result of the immune system releasing cytokines and inflammatory proteins deep within the skin, which cause nerve endings to misfire and create that strange crawling or prickling sensation. Now imagine you're 68 years old, and you feel this creeping sensation behind your shoulder blade, day after day. You apply creams, you even try medicated soap. Nothing works. You might say, maybe it's age, but maybe it's the body asking you to take a deeper look. That's when it becomes time to talk to your doctor, not with fear but with clarity. You can request a basic set of blood panels including CBC, complete blood count, ESR, erythrocyte sedimentation rate, CRP, C-reactive protein, liver function tests, and for more specific investigations, serum protein electrophoresis. You don't have to ask for all of them at once. A professional will guide you, but asking the right questions is already 50% of the work done. So now comes the calm question. What can you do if you're facing this issue? What changes can bring peace, not just physically, but emotionally as well? The answer isn't just in medicines or reports, it's in your entire lifestyle. Your skin is your largest organ, and it reflects your inner world: nutrients, hydration, emotional state, and your immune strength. Let's explore a few changes that can make a real difference. Diet is the foundation of everything in old age, especially when it comes to reducing inflammation and strengthening skin cell regeneration. If you're dealing with a persistent, unexplained itch, it's time to feed your skin from within. That means foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, anti-inflammatory, found in fatty fish like salmon and sardines. For vegetarians, flaxseed and chia seeds are perfect. Vitamin A, skin cell renewal, found in carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach. Vitamin E heals skin barrier. Almonds, sunflower seeds, avocados. Zinc, immune control, pumpkin seeds, cashews and oats. Hydration minerals, watermelon, cucumber, coconut water. For someone skinny and weak, Add energy-dense meals with healthy fats like peanut butter, full-fat yogurt, and cooked lentils. Avoid dry crackers or plain rice. They don't help. For someone overweight, use boiled eggs, steamed vegetables, and soups to provide nutrients without burdening the liver. Avoid fried foods, dairy-heavy desserts, and salted nuts. For women with osteoporosis or fragile bones, calcium intake matters. Use sesame seeds, yogurt, fortified soy milk. Vitamin D must be checked regularly. For men with high blood pressure, limit sodium in pickles, processed snacks, and even table salt. Add potassium-rich foods like bananas, beans, and citrus. Now let's talk about habits. Many elders don't realize that skin health is deeply tied to routine. Avoid using hot water for baths. It strips the natural oils. Use lukewarm water and a mild fragrance-free soap. After every bath, gently pat dry and apply a ceramide-rich moisturizer. Brands like CeraVe or Aveeno are good. Wear loose cotton clothes, not wool, not polyester. Sleep in well-ventilated rooms with low humidity. If air is dry, keep a small humidifier. Your sleep also plays a role. Itching worsens at night due to skin temperature rising slightly during rest. So, avoid heavy blankets that trap heat. Don't sleep with skin lotions that contain menthol. It can irritate. Use light cotton bedsheet. Try melatonin supplements, after doctor's approval, if itching is keeping you awake. Another invisible factor, stress. In old age, emotional stress often shows up physically. You may be holding on to grief, loneliness, or unspoken fears, and your skin may be the first to speak up for your heart. Even if no one has said it to you lately, I want you to hear this calmly and clearly. You are still allowed to seek joy. You're allowed to take care of yourself. You're allowed to demand answers when something doesn't feel right. And most of all, you're allowed to heal. Now let's touch on something deeply personal. Many elderly people, especially those living alone, ignore small symptoms. Why? Because they don't want to be a burden. They don't want to seem paranoid, or they simply think it's a part of aging. But pain is not a rite of passage. Discomfort is not a badge of honor. You deserve care, even for something as small as an itchy patch behind the ear. So the next time you feel it, pause, don't rush for a quick fix. Observe, track, ask questions, and calmly speak to a medical professional who knows your history. That is not fear. That is wisdom. I know this has been a lot to take in, but the truth is, many small things in elder life are the beginning of very big things. Sometimes good, sometimes troubling, but always, always manageable if you act in time. And that action begins not with panic, but with attention. And as we move further, it becomes important to explore how the immune system, especially in elderly individuals, begins to react differently over time. This is not merely about age, it's about how the internal machinery that once handled irritants silently now begins to react more visibly. When we're young, our skin can handle minor stress. Detergents, dust, changes in water quality, even cheap soap. But after 60, the immune system begins to lose some of its silent efficiency. This leads to something called immunosenescence, a gradual weakening of immune response. And with that, the skin becomes both more sensitive and more prone to reactions that feel like allergies, dryness, or itching, but are actually deeper signs of immune dysregulation. Now imagine this. Your immune system begins to fire off inflammatory signals for even small internal irregularities. One of those irregularities could be uncontrolled cell growth, a precursor of cancer. So what happens? The skin reacts, sometimes subtly, sometimes persistently. But it reacts. The problem? Most elderly individuals don't recognize these patterns. They often dismiss the itch as dry weather, or detergent, or simply age. But when these episodes last longer than 3-4 weeks, when they worsen during the evening or night, when moisturizers bring no relief at all, that's when the flag rises higher. In many cases, the area where itching occurs is no coincidence. Each location may correspond with specific internal organ systems. Itching near the shoulder blades, often noted in lung-related issues, chest or sternum area. Sometimes tied to lymphatic or breast-related changes. Lower back itching, observed in some kidney and pancreatic disorders. Scalp itching, occasionally linked to blood composition changes. Now again, none of this is a direct diagnosis, but patterns are tools, silent clues that help professionals connect dots. And these clues deserve to be noticed, especially when they repeat. So what's next? Beyond clinical tests and skin assessments, there's a quieter realm of healing that most doctors won't talk about unless you ask. Let's go there. It starts with your body's pH levels and cellular oxygenation. A body that's constantly acidic through processed foods, sedentary lifestyle, stress becomes a ground for silent inflammation. And inflammation is the mother of every chronic disease, including cancer. So how do you alkalize your system gently, especially at old age? Start your mornings with warm water and a squeeze of lemon. Include more leafy greens daily, not raw but lightly steamed. Reduce red meats to once or twice a week at most. Increase your fiber intake using lentils, flax seeds, and whole oats. Try drinking fennel seed water or soaked basil seed water. Excellent for skin and digestion. Avoid artificial sweeteners instead. Use dates or stevia in small amounts. Your gut is your second brain, and it controls 70% of your immune system. You fix the gut, you calm the itch, simple but overlooked. Let's talk about emotional triggers next. It's something many of us were taught to ignore, that our feelings have physical form. You lose a partner. You stop speaking much. You stay indoors for days. What begins as quiet grief becomes muscle tension, then insomnia, then a kind of restlessness under your skin. That restlessness turns into itching. A German study on psychodermatology showed that over 45% of elderly patients reporting chronic itch symptoms had experienced recent emotional trauma, unresolved anxiety, or long-term loneliness. Your skin doesn't just feel the weather, it feels your heart. So what helps? Start each day with sunlight, even for 10 minutes. Create a ritual of movement, gardening, light walking, even rearranging books. Start writing in a notebook once a week, not poetry, just memories, feelings, thoughts. Speak to your neighbors or friends at least once every 2 days. Even small talk changes brain chemistry. You don't need therapy to heal, you just need connection. Gadgets can help too, especially if used wisely. Use a water-based humidifier in dry months. Keep a skin hydration meter. They're available online to track your moisture levels weekly. Use an electric back scratcher only if the skin isn't damaged. Don't scratch with your nails. Try light therapy lamps in winters. They balance circadian rhythm and improve skin clarity. Invest in a good air purifier, especially if you live in cities. Many airborne particles worsen skin irritation in elders. And one of the most underrated devices, a basic digital skin camera. Yes, there are small pocket cameras available now that can zoom into your skin and show you what's happening. If you notice unusual moles, patterns, dryness that spreads, or new bumps, you can photograph them and share with your doctor. It makes the difference between guessing and knowing. Another gentle yet powerful solution lies in herbal support, but this must be approached with respect and caution. If your doctor agrees, you can try neem oil, antifungal, antibacterial, apply lightly to affected areas. Turmeric capsules with black pepper, anti-inflammatory. Batikan with warm milk. Aloe vera gel, soothing for nerve endings. Use only natural extract. Calendula creams, heals minor skin disruptions. Omega-3 oil capsules, enhances skin elasticity and immunity. But please ask your physician before starting anything new, especially if you're on medications for blood pressure, diabetes, or heart. There is also one forgotten piece of advice that needs to be brought back from the past: the power of touch. In elderly homes across Scandinavia, one new experiment became famous. Elder patients who received gentle skin massages twice a week, using plain warm oils, reported drastic reductions in itching, anxiety, and loneliness. No fancy oils, just warm hands massaging arms, shoulders, neck, or even feet, twice a week, reduced both the skin irritation and emotional tension. Why? Because our skin doesn't just protect us. It remembers everything we feel, and touch, at any age, reminds the body it is loved. Lastly, don't underestimate the value of sleep restoration. Chronic itching ruins sleep, and ruined sleep causes hormone imbalance. It's a vicious loop. So try these methods if itching is breaking your night's rest. Sip chamomile or tulsi tea 30 minutes before bed. Avoid screens 60 minutes before sleeping. No phones, no TV. Use a weighted blanket, not too heavy. It reduces nerve sensitivity. Keep your nails short and file. Keep a small ice pack beside your bed. Sometimes applying it to the itchy area for 2 minutes can shut the sensation down temporarily. There is an old Japanese saying, Diseases pass through the skin, but health begins there too. This isn't just about creams or reporting, it's about attention, observation, connection. Your body has done its job for over 6 or 7 decades. Now it's simply asking you to return the favor, to stop overlooking what appears small, to start noticing what your skin is trying to say. If the itch is still here, don't fight it with frustration. Understand it with calm, because within it may lie a truth you still have time to transform. There is something about aging that many younger people never truly understand: the silence of symptoms. The way pain hides, the way diseases disguise themselves, not as loud alarms but as whispers, like an itch. And yet, you, the elder, the experienced one, know that these whispers must be listened to, because nobody else will hear them the way you do. So now we step into the final layer, not just managing this mysterious itch, but mastering your body's patterns so deeply that you begin to understand its language before any test or scan tells you. Let's begin with one of the least discussed but incredibly powerful aspects: hormonal decline. After 60, the decline in key hormones, like estrogen, testosterone, and even thyroid function, doesn't just affect energy, it affects the skin, nerves, sleep cycle, and immune function. All of these are directly tied to how your skin feels and behaves. For example, a slightly underactive thyroid, common in aging women and men, can cause chronic dry skin, patches of itching, and sluggish healing. A drop in estrogen makes the skin thinner and increases nerve sensitivity, especially in women after menopause. Low testosterone in elderly men causes muscle breakdown and lowered skin regeneration. So what can you do? Ask your doctor for a full hormonal panel once every year after 60. Specifically request T3, T4, TSH, estrogen, testosterone bioavailable, and DHEA. If you're on hormone replacement therapy, discuss the dosage and side effects. Many of them affect skin irritation patterns. Some elders may qualify for safe microdoses of bioidentical hormones under close supervision. This is not about vanity, it's about function, about feeling at home in your own skin. Now let's look at movement. You might be surprised how many cases of chronic itching in elders are caused not by disease but by lack of circulation. When your body stops moving, lymphatic drainage slows down. Toxins begin to settle under the skin, especially in areas like inner thighs, between the shoulder blades, under the arms, behind the knees, along the rib cage. And when those toxins settle, they irritate nerve endings. So what do? Gentle stretches every morning, spinal rolls, side bends, neck rotations, brisk walking for just 7 minutes after breakfast and dinner, seated Tai Chi or yoga, available online, designed for elders. Dry brushing the body gently before a bath boosts blood flow and skin regeneration. Foot massage with warm sesame oil before bed. It reduces nerve excitation. Movement isn't about burning calories anymore. It's about circulation. And circulation equals clarity of skin, of thought, of life. Now a word must be said about medications. Many elders take 4, 5, even 7 pills a day. And while each is prescribed with care, their combined effect on the skin is rarely discussed. Statins, for cholesterol, can cause skin dryness and itchy rashes. Diuretics, for blood pressure, can reduce potassium and magnesium, leading to skin tingling. NSAIDs, like ibuprofen, can cause sun sensitivity. Certain antibiotics can trigger allergic rashes that appear like itching, but aren't infection-related. Blood thinners can lead to microbruising under the skin mistaken for irritation. You don't have to stop your medicine, but you must review them at least twice a year with your doctor or pharmacist. Ask them, can any of these affect my skin or nerves? It's a simple question, but it can save months of discomfort. We also need to talk about one more shadowy factor: fungal infections that are misdiagnosed. In the elderly population, fungal infections can look very different. They don't always cause redness. They may appear as dry, cracked skin that never heals. They can affect places like under the breast, between toes, around the groin, and feel like general itching. Ask your doctor to examine those areas closely. Sometimes a simple antifungal treatment for 2 weeks can end a 6-month-old itch. But again, only with medical supervision. Never self-diagnose based on creams from the pharmacy shelf. Because every skin is different, and in elder years every decision matters more. And finally, let's return to the emotional core, because if you are still reading or listening, then perhaps this journey through science and skin has touched something more than your body. Perhaps your sense of being heard. That matters more than you know. Because so many elders suffer silently, they walk into rooms where their pain is called normal aging. They speak of discomforts that people call just dryness. They wait for someone to care, not out of pity, but out of respect. So here's something no test will ever measure: the dignity of believing your own symptoms, the strength to speak about them, and the wisdom to say, no, this is not okay, I want help. That is what real elder care means. Not charity, not fear, not panic, but clarity, calm, and courage. And you have all three. So now, if there's an itch, treat it as a message. If there's a pattern, trace it. If there's a quiet discomfort, listen. Because the earlier you observe, the more peaceful the outcome. You deserve that peace. Every elder deserves that peace. We spent days building this story for you, layer by layer, with care and sincerity. And if it helped you understand something new, or comforted you in any way, then I'll consider it worthwhile. But here's something even more important. If you found value in this video, then please consider supporting us in your own gentle way. Maybe by sharing this video with someone who might be silently struggling. Maybe by commenting your thoughts to help another elder who feels alone. Or if you feel moved, perhaps even by visiting the link in the comments or description and offering your support. Even a small act of kindness from you can make a big impact for us. It helps us create more content that matters, that respects your age, your wisdom, your time. And as for your body, try this simple thing today. Sit near a tree for just 5 minutes and breathe slowly. Because sometimes, nature can calm what even medicine cannot. Until next time, stay gentle with yourself.